Norm, we've known each other for a few years. I've been coming to these meetings, and you are basically in charge of the Fort Wayne.
Right, I'm manager of Access Fort Wayne, and we operate out of the Allen County Public Library there, downtown in Fort Wayne.
Okay, and why are you here? Just so people,
I've been involved with the Alliance for Community Media. I've been in the business over 30 years, and I started off as an intern, and then got a part-time job, and then got a full-time job working in the industry. And the ACM is a great networking situation as far as that. If I have a problem, if I have an issue, I can call somebody else at another facility and say, "How did you guys deal with this?" And that networking has always been a wonderful thing to be able to vent, be able to get some ideas, or once again, as far as find out that it's like, look, this is just part of the industry, and this is what you have to deal with, this kind of stuff on a daily basis. So it's a real opportunity to network and to get a lot of great information for people that have been through this and experiencing the things that you're doing right now.
Do you think I'm wrong to think I was like big in the homeschool movement, and the homeschool movement had to buck the trend. Then they had to have a support group to even survive. In a sense, public access is an alternative media.
Oh yeah,
it's a different point of view. You're up against the big corporations as far as trying to reach the local people.
Well, access is a niche as far as obviously in the cable business, that they set aside a cable channel to be the local channel sort of thing, and that's really as far as you have to understand that niche. One of the places I worked was in Defiance, Ohio. Okay, Defiance is, if you draw a line between Fort Wayne and Toledo, Defiance was halfway in between. It was 50 miles from either one of the metropolitan centers sort of thing. And for Access Television, that was a wonderful thing because we were a local TV channel where nobody else, somebody had to die, something major had to happen before we actually had news coverage of Defiance, okay? But the local access channel, city council meetings, school board meetings, high school sports, let alone the church programs as far as, and that really provided a wonderful service to the community as far as, this is the major connection. This is where we covered the media, the aspect of what went on in the community. So that was a great situation. Now I'm working in Fort Wayne now. I've been there for 15 years. It's a different feel altogether. We have broadcast stations and we have other things like that. But the broadcast stations, they're there for, here's your 90-second coverage of this story. Okay, where Access does it the whole thing. Okay, I was in a session here yesterday where they were talking about high school sports. Okay. High school sports is a wonderful thing. This is, once again, that local niche, okay, because ESPN's not going to cover high school sports.
No.
Okay, but Access can do that. And we're not going to do the story, okay, we're going to do the whole game. And the thing about that is, for you can do that with a single camera, whether that's baseball, wrestling, swimming, gymnastics, as well as football or basketball. And putting that stuff on the channels, that's, talk about your hometown heroes. That's where it's all about. That's pure athletics, because these kids are not getting paid for this. They're doing it out of the love of the game.
How different would Fort Wayne be if you didn't have Access Fort Wayne? If you didn't have public access television, how different would it be? How's it help the community?
Well, once again, as far as filling that local niche, from a city council meeting perspective, we know that our city council meetings are the most thing that are watched out of the access channels that we run. When the meeting's not on, that's when the phone calls come, as far as what's going on with that. But also, as far as we have our city council meetings on a video-on-demand process, as far as we send them up to a server, and that's something I don't have a Nielsen to tell me how many people are watching the cable TV, but I do have a video-on-demand account there, and I can tell you as far as, that those are the things that are very much wanted. and a lot of it is from the city. As far as the city administration wants to follow up as far as what's going on with city council meetings and people that are involved in politics. Another service that we provide on the channels is the adoption service, as far as animals that are available for adoption at the shelter. The shelter has a digital camera. They send us pictures, via the internet, and we put them up on the channels as far as these are the animals that are available for adoption. That is a channel stopper every time. People are clicking through with a remote control. Oh, look at that puppy, look at that kitten, and it stops, and they watch for a few seconds, And on the other side of that, as far as the adoption rates, proven time and time again as far as the impact, as far as getting that face, that animal up on television, they move very quickly out of the adoption. So it helps the community, with the adoption of animals and moving around that aspect of things. City council meetings, once again, as far as here's an unbiased, gavel-to-gavel coverage of the whole city council meeting.
And the other TV stations don't.
They're there. Yeah, they come in and they're covering the story.
But they don't do the whole thing.
No. Well, I have to smile as far as because I'll watch the 11 o'clock news, and I see some of my staff members in the background as far as taking care of the equipment and stuff like that. And our staff members are on the news almost every Tuesday night. That's when we have city council meetings. But once again, the broadcasters are there covering the story. This is my 90-second story about city council, whatever that issue is, where I can go online or watch it on cable TV and I can get the whole story as far as who said what in the meeting specifically. And our video on demand is actually indexed as far as, so you don't have to sit through the whole city council meeting. You can go right to the part. So it's like YouTube.
Well, 2 nights ago they had they're trying to regulate the abortionist in South Bend, and I think he goes to Fort Wayne too.
Yes, he does.
And that meeting was so packed out. I mean, we were way out in the foyer. So it shows you.
Oh yeah, controversy comes in all shapes and sizes. Columbia City, they've had a lot of issues with windmills, as far as that putting the wind turbines in, and so those planning commission meetings have been just packed with people.
And you film them.
Otto films as far as Columbia City. So like I said, as far as the controversy comes around again and again and again, and whatever that hot topic is, as far as people want to see exactly who said what, and how did they say it, and that, like I said, the video is the best thing to deliver that message.
Yeah, because sometimes they won't go to the meeting. In fact, most of the time people won't go to the meeting, but they'll watch it on the TV.
Exactly.
What's the greatest fear that you have as far as Access Fort Wayne? And because people are saying, well, maybe it's going to become irrelevant, the internet. Is cable TV, Access TV, going to maintain its relevancy?
I don't have a crystal ball. I don't try to predict the future specifically on television, but like I said, finding out what your niche is and providing the best service at doing that, delivering that, and that's one of my strategies has always been, as far as I'm going to provide the service that if somebody were to come and say, all right, well, we're going to take this channel away, everybody's going to come out screaming and hollering. And that's, that provide that kind of service with that kind of loyalty, and it's like, you're going to create a need.
So the public does support. You're saying that you got quite a bit of support.
Sure, yes.
And why do they like it? Why do people in Fort Wayne like having?
Well, it is part of it as far as just the flavor that sometimes Access is kind of a quirky program, and and people really, as far as we've been on for over 30 years, and so in that history of the institution, as far as we've got our quirky programs, and people remember those things, as far as like, you used to have a program on there was this guy, he had like a brandy snifter, he smoked cigars and played music, and it's like, this guy, he stopped production 15 years ago, but everybody still remembers him. So it's a Montessori school for adults, to come in and use the equipment, to provide the programming, let them speak their piece. Everybody's got a story to tell. I mean, you're asking me to tell my story right now.
Yeah.
So, it's providing people the tools to communicate, and that's always a good thing.
And you're communicating primarily with your local community, and
Yes.
you can always put it on YouTube so everybody
Yeah,
worldwide can know. But it's
reaches beyond
starting
cable.
locally, and it's a communication. It's a discussion with your community. And
Absolutely,
you're
yes.
bringing them in,
Yes.
and only public access can really do that.
Well, obviously, as far as lots of people have got cameras, on their phones and all kinds of different places, so people are doing a lot more recording than they were 10, 20 years ago. So you got more equipment out in the field doing the recording. But really, as far as being able to tell their story and package it in a professional manner so it's consumable. I mean, right now, as far as you watch so many videos that have been captured off of their iPhone or whatever sort of thing, and that's become, as far as, hey, people will watch anything, okay, especially if it's entertaining. So there's that element that has kind of brought the common denominator of everything down a little bit, but it also means, as far as that the equipment is available and very economically to get it, take the extra time, make that a finished product, okay, that you're proud of.
The editing process.
The editing, polishing it up,
Yeah.
making it more consumable, and then obviously, like I said, full speed ahead.
Yep. Okay, Norm, I know we got today, and then Friday will be the last day of the conference, and then next year it will be in South Bend, and then you'll probably be there.
Yeah, I've been coming to these things for many, many years.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been involved in the Alliance since the mid-'80s. Been serving on the regional board for lots. Have always been a chance to be involved with things. The video competitions are great to be able to bring, to judge those. It's like, here, you're going to look at 20 different tapes from 20 different locations and see what they're doing in South Bend, or see what they're doing in Indianapolis or Toledo or other places like that. So it's in a sense a way to travel without actually, having to make the trip.
Right.
So it's a great way to get involved, and like I said, as far as the networking aspect of things, sharing with people, finding like-minded people wherever they're at, whether they're in our state of Indiana or other regions. It's always fun to talk to people and understand, as far as like, hey, you've got the same issues I do. We're like-minded. It's a good thing.
Right, so it gives the encouragement for people in South Bend that we can do this.
Oh, yes.
Because there's help.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, well, this is Norm Compton from Fort Wayne, Access Fort Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
He's the manager there for many years, 15 years, and
Yes.
then 30 years altogether. So hopefully South Bend community will see him next year at its conference.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, good.